My best friend had a baby, so my husband and I went over to her place with a gift to celebrate the new arrival. When my husband held the baby, he was visibly excited and said to me, "Wow, she's so tiny! Look at these little hands!" I just watched silently as he went on. "Man, she's adorable! Seriously, she's so cute! I'm totally moved!" Right after he said that, my friend's husband quietly mentioned, "Well, she's your kid, so of course she's cute." I then added with a smile, "She really does look just like you." "What?" Both my husband and my friend said that in unison. Little did they know they were about to enter a world of trouble. My name is Erin. I'm a 30-year-old stay-at-home wife. I've led a pretty unremarkable life, being somewhat plain and not standing out much. I was somewhat good at studies during my school days, average at sports, and looked pretty ordinary. On top of that, I was quite shy. But there was something I could be proud of, my best friend Molly since high school. She was bright, beautiful, and such a radiant presence that I couldn't understand why she chose to be friends with someone like me. She wasn't much into studying and often asked me to let her copy my homework or teach her, which I was only too happy to do, enjoying being relied upon, and thus we became close friends. We went everywhere together, and I heard all about her romance with the captain of the soccer team. And through her, I started to harbor my own faint dream of love. In my sophomore year of high school, Kevin, a fellow library committee member, confessed his feelings to me. He was as reserved as I was, but I was happy to be liked and started dating him. However, about 3 months in, he broke up with me saying, "I don't like you anymore." Molly was there to comfort me as I cried. I was truly grateful for her friendship then. Time passed, and I graduated from college and started working at a local government office. Molly, using her beauty to her advantage, got a job as a receptionist at a major corporation. We lived not far from each other and often met for meals. A few years into my job, I met someone at my first transfer location. "Erin, you're serious, but have this cute, funny side to you. I find that really charming," said Warren, a coworker 3 years my senior. Having not had a boyfriend since high school, his words flustered me, and I gradually found myself drawn to him. Eventually, he asked me out, and we started dating. I introduced him to Molly once. "Oh, what a great guy, Erin! You two are perfect together." "Thanks, Molly." "Warren, take good care of this one. It's a promise between you and me." "Oh, let's exchange contacts. I can help with gift ideas for her." "Of course, Molly. Looking forward to it." I remember the conversation well. At that time, Molly didn't have a steady boyfriend. Despite her beauty attracting many, she had high standards and often complained about not meeting the right person. Eventually, Warren and I decided to get married. Molly attended the wedding and even gave a speech as the bridesmaid. After the ceremony, Warren mentioned, "A bunch of my friends asked me to introduce them to Molly, the friend who gave the speech." "Well, that's Molly for you." "Yeah, she's a catch, a real beauty," he said with a smitten look, and I was amazed by Molly's appeal. Life with Warren was going great. Even though we worked in different departments, being government employees provided us with financial stability, and we had no major worries. We shared household chores and spent weekends together. But at some point, things between us started to change. Warren began to act coldly and stopped helping around the house. He even started to criticize my appearance, leaving me feeling unsure about him. During this time, I hadn't seen Molly, but she one day contacted me. "I've met the man of my dreams! We're engaged and I want to introduce him to you! Bring your husband too!" So my husband and I went to the designated dining bar where she and a tall man were sitting together. They looked like a handsome couple even from afar. "Sorry we're late." "Molly, is this?" "Yes, my fiancé. Isn't he handsome? And he works for a major company," she replied proudly, looking at the man next to her. He smiled and said, "Nice to meet you. I'm Jeremy." The conversation flowed over wine. Jeremy seemed not only good-looking, but also genuinely kind, which reassured me. "We should start hanging out as couples from now on." "Ooh, I know! Let's create a chat group," Molly suggested, and we decided to meet for dinner again. On our way home, I told Warren, "Molly seems really happy, and her fiancé, Jeremy, seems like a great guy." "Oh, really?" Warren frowned. "You didn't think so? He seems nice, and he and Molly look good together." "Nah, something's off about that guy. He must be hiding something," he replied, speaking ill of him. I couldn't help but wonder why my husband felt that way. Later, their wedding took place, and we were invited as a couple. I was asked to give a speech as her bridesmaid, and I read a letter praising Molly. She looked radiant in her wedding dress, the most beautiful I'd ever seen her. Meanwhile, my relationship with Warren remained cold. He seemed to want to have as little to do with me as possible. He claimed to be busy with work, staying late every weekday and going out to work even on weekends. We spoke about day-to-day things, but he no longer touched me, and of course there was no intimacy between us, making the thought of having children unimaginable. Perhaps this is just how marriage is after a while, I thought. About a year into this routine, Molly contacted me to say she was pregnant. "I'm already in my second trimester. In 4 months, I'll get to meet my baby. Come and see her with Warren after she's born." "Of course. Take care of yourself, Molly." I couldn't bring myself to discuss my troubled marriage with the happy Molly, feeling a bit envious of her pregnancy. A few months later, Warren told me he was going to work on his day off. "I'm heading to work, but what are you up to today?" It was unusual for him to ask, but I answered, "I might just do some chores and watch a movie at home." "Oh, all right," he said, and left, seemingly in a good mood. After finishing my chores and having some free time, I looked out the window. Oh wow, it's so gorgeous out today. Maybe I should go out instead of watching a movie at home. So I put on some makeup, got dressed, and went alone to the newly opened shopping mall in the next town. While shopping, I glanced down from the atrium to the floor below, and my heart nearly stopped. There was Warren walking side by side with a visibly pregnant Molly, both carrying bags from a baby shop and chatting intimately. I lost sight of them too quickly to follow, and couldn't find them when I went downstairs. Why were they together? Was I mistaken? Warren was supposed to be at work today. But they know each other, so it wouldn't be strange if they met up by chance. I decided to ask him about it when I got home. As I was pondering this, I ran into someone. "Is it you, Aaron?" "Oh, hi, Kevin! It's been so long!" It was Kevin, whom I had dated for 3 months in high school. He looked determined as he asked, "Can we talk for a bit?" I was thirsty, so I agreed to go to a nearby coffee shop. While sipping coffee awkwardly, he said, "You're married, right? You look happy." "Actually, I'm married too now." "Really? Congratulations!" So, I've always been bothered by something from our high school days, when I suddenly broke things off with you. I chuckled and said, "It's in the past, don't worry about it." But then he revealed something shocking. "Back then, your best friend Molly told me, if you break up with Aaron, I'll let you have a go with me." "What?" She was out of my league, so I got carried away. I forgot about you and went for it. I've been unable to face you since because of the guilt. I'm sorry. I asked with a trembling voice. Is that story true? Did she really say that? Yeah, it's true. I stood up abruptly and said, "You don't have to feel bad about that anymore. Thank you." Then left. I tried calling Warren multiple times afterwards, but couldn't reach him. When he returned home late, I greeted him. "Welcome back. Did you go to the mall with Molly today?" He dodged the question visibly. No, I didn't." "Well, I saw someone who looked a lot like the two of you. You're not lying to me, are you?" "That must be a coincidence. Besides, she's pregnant. Why would I be with her? That's impossible." "I suppose so, but..." "Don't say weird things. I'm gonna take a bath," he said, leaving the room. Dark suspicions swirled in my mind. The sight of them walking together and Kevin's story. Could he be... I was unable to check his phone because he always had it with him everywhere he went. So I decided to hire a detective agency in desperation. After about 2 weeks, the investigation concluded they weren't having an affair. I decided to believe Warren's words and the detective's findings for now. Shortly after, Molly contacted me to say she had given birth. "Congratulations! I'll visit once things settle down," I replied, still troubled by Kevin's words. 2 weeks after her birth announcement, I received a text from Molly's husband, Jeremy, saying he wanted to talk over the phone. I had never received a personal message from him before, so I was curious. The call revealed a shocking truth. 3 weeks later, after Molly was discharged and settled back home, my husband and I went to her house with a gift for the baby. "Welcome, you two! Thank you for coming to see my baby!" She greeted us with a smile, and we moved to the living room where a crib held a small infant. "Her name is Kira. Go ahead, you can hold her," she said, handing the baby to my husband instead of me. His face lit up with excitement as he told me, "She's so tiny! Look at these little hands!" I watched silently as he continued. "Wow, she's adorable! Seriously, she's so cute! I'm totally moved!" At that moment, Jeremy quietly but angrily said, "Well, she's your kid, so of course she's cute." I then added with a smile, "She really does look just like you." Both Warren and Molly exclaimed, "What?" in unison. "What are you talking about? I don't understand," she said, panicking and looking back and forth between me and Jeremy. Meanwhile, Warren was frozen. Jeremy said quietly, yet with anger, "Molly, I know the truth, so it's about time you came clean." "Huh? I still don't get what you mean." "The day after the birth, the hospital told me the baby's blood type is B. It's impossible for my child to be type B. Kira isn't my baby, is she?" That was the shocking fact I was told over the phone. He asked me if I had any suspicions, so I told him about what I saw at the mall and we planned this day together. But she was defiant. "Errors are common in newborn blood type tests. The blood type isn't always clear right after birth. I read that online." "Even with this?" Jeremy presented a DNA test report. It clearly denied any father-child relationship. Her face grew paler. I then turned to Warren. "Maybe Dad wants to say something?" "What the? I'm not the father. What kind of absurd accusation is that?" That's when I pulled out another DNA test report. It stated a 99.99% probability of parentage.
What? I never took a DNA test!
Warren exclaimed. I took a sample from you while you were asleep and submitted it along with the baby sample Jeremy provided. And this is the result. Overwhelmed by irrefutable evidence, Molly and Warren were brought to their knees. Molly, why? Why would you do this, especially with my husband? I demanded. She glared back fiercely. Shut up! You were always just a backdrop to me. I couldn't stand seeing you happy, so I decided to destroy it. I looked at Warren, whose lips were shaking.
It was supposed to be just once, but we got along so well and I couldn't stop. I knew the baby was mine. I thought we could work it out, he confessed. Listening to his ridiculous excuse, Jeremy finally spoke. Molly, we're getting a divorce. Get out of this house immediately. Divorce? No! My husband is you! The elite and handsome! I apologize for what happened. Please, don't leave me. She began to cling to Jeremy desperately. Then Warren started begging me for forgiveness as well. I'm sorry. I'm begging you, Molly. Please forgive me. I finally lost my patience. There's no way I'm forgiving you, jerk. We're getting a divorce. I'll make sure to get every penny of alimony from you. I turned my gaze from him to Molly. And you wicked woman! Our relationship ends here! Go to hell, both of you! With Molly holding the crying baby and Warren pale as a ghost, Jeremy escorted them out. That was exhausting, he said, handing me a bitter cup of coffee. Later, my divorce from Warren was finalized, and Jeremy and Molly also ended up divorcing. We each demanded $50,000 in alimony, leaving them with a debt of $100,000 each. Molly was disowned by her family and faced raising her child in complete isolation. As for Warren, after I spread the word at work, he couldn't stand the scrutiny and eventually resigned. The alimony dispute led to their utter downfall. Molly began working in the night entertainment business to support her child, while Warren found a lower-paying job than his previous local government office position. Both faced a miserable life ahead due to their alimony payments. All I can do is wish them good luck. As for me, I returned to single life, living freely and comfortably. About a year after the ordeal, Jeremy asked me out. Despite the complex feelings, I kind of saw him like a comrade in arms. Believing we could share and support each other through past wounds, I said yes. The future is uncertain, but that's why I want to remain down to earth and live each day happily.